Good morning, boys and girls. I'm going to now start to teach you about the second lesson that we have for this week, the second book that we're doing, What Happens When You Flush. So I'm going to do part of the step 2 with you where you preview the text. Remember, our LEQ is still how does text structure help us to understand, write about, and answer questions about a text? So what happens when you flush? We're going to use some sequence. We're going to use some description when we talk about how people got rid of sewage in the old days. Remember, you need your paper and pencil. You need to follow along with each part. And then we'll have a discussion and where you type in what you're thinking and you get to read other people's responses. And then we'll have your assignment or submission at the end where you need to answer a question. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start. You're going to see my screen, what happens when you flush. This you can access from Raz Kids. Everybody should be familiar with that. And remember, you can read or listen to the book. We're doing the book level U. So that's the one that we're using for today. And we're going to do the step where you preview the text. So when I'm done reading this book, I expect to be able to answer this question, what happens when you flush? So already when I turn to the first page, I'm noticing this cap that says sewer, and I know that I've seen those everywhere. I kind of walk on them sometimes, and now I'm just realizing that this manhole where someone can go down there and do something, this has something to do with the way that we get rid of human waste, which if I didn't know that was what it was for, I know now just by that picture. Okay, on the very first page are some words to know. Those words are going to be in bold. They're going to be throughout the text, and I know that I'm responsible for when I'm done reading this, I should have an idea about what those words mean. I love this table of contents because of this picture. So this picture really helps me understand what a sewage plant looks like. I've never been to one, so I see that it's filled with a lot of pipes. I see that there's some water there, and I know that I'm going to learn something more about how sewage plants work, like how do we get rid of human waste. I'm going to do the introduction with you and where does waste come from, where does it go? That's the part that we'll do together. Then inside the treatment plant is your first discussion question. The septic system is your second discussion question, and then your assignment is sewage through the ages. So that's how this book is going to work. We're going to do a little bit of a preview of some of the text features. So here I see this picture, first the flush, and I'm getting ready to think about the text structure of sequence. This picture is a sequence and steps. So I know that sequence is going to play a part in this book. Here's a pie chart. What makes up my sewage. So one thing that we're going to learn on this page is sewage is not just human waste, like what happens when we go to the bathroom. It also has to do with when we take a shower, when we wash dishes, when we wash our car. Like there's other ways. Anytime we dirty up water, we call that sewage. So this picture is a bit disturbing because there's a little boy drinking water out of a pipe, and if you were to ask me, that doesn't look very clean or healthy. We're not only going to learn about what happens in the United States with our sewage system, which is very advanced, we're going to talk about some other countries and about their sewage systems. Here comes inside the treatment plant. So remember, this is a section that you're going to do on your own. Boys and girls, if you're just rushing past this preview, I want to tell you don't. The whole reason that we're doing the preview, that I'm showing you how to do it again, and that you need to do it on your own is so that you can really look and see what's happening here. Like here's the sewer pipe. Here's the storm sewer pipe. So like, I don't know, I need to think about what this means. The catch basin, I see this in my neighborhood. Like I see this in places where the water goes down there, and that's the water that goes into this pipe. Here, this pipe holds the waste from my house. So down my sinks, down my toilet, down my drains. So this caption tells about those. This is going to take work on your part. You're going to have to read and give yourself a little bit of step up, build your schema by looking at these pictures and reading what they have to tell you before you jump into the book. Okay, this section here we see step 1 and step 2 again. So we know we're back to sequence. We're back to thinking, okay, how does water get treated and make it clean again? Okay, there's step 3 and step 4. So I'm really going to rely on the sequence for that part. This chapter, which is our second part of the discussion, talks about the septic system. So in places where they don't have as many people, they, instead of a sewer system, each house has a septic tank. And this is true in my family for my mom. My mom lives in a place where there's not a lot of people, so she doesn't have a sewer system. She has a septic tank. So some people have something a little bit differently, and we're going to learn about the septic system, which is another way to deal with human waste. This section, groundwater and sewage, a dangerous combination, tells why we can't just put sewage anywhere, how that can hurt us, and you all know what groundwater is. So that's the part that you read, that you want to read to just get a little bit more knowledgeable. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's the section, Sewage Through the Ages. This is the part that you're going to talk about for your assignment. So we didn't always have the kind of sewer system that we have today. In the past, it was very, very different. It was very, very gross. They didn't have nearly the technology or the things that we have. There are even other countries that don't have the kind of sewer system that we have in this country today. So this is the part that you're going to read, and you're going to see and think about 100 years ago or 200 years ago how people were dealing with human waste. Remember, as long as there were people, there was human waste, the waste that comes out of people. So this is the part where you're going to read and take your notes and answer the very last question. Okay. All right, last page is the glossary. All right, boys and girls, go ahead, get your paper, get your pencil, do your preview.